All right. What's going on, everybody? YouTube, Twitter, all supporters of War Media, and myself and Drew. Thank you for riding with us once again. Monday Night Means, a late night edition. A special time we coming on today. I had a little occupied at the regular time that we would normally come on, so I figured figured we'd hold off until after the Bulls game. And for a while it looked like we was gonna be a little downtrodden after the game. But man, they came alive in that fourth quarter, man, and really, it's still a young season, but maybe you could argue a defining win for this group. Still young as a squad together, but I think they found out a lot more about themselves tonight, coming down as much as 19 late in the third. Let me get some of these numbers up as I see them come across Twitter and everything. Let me see. I got Rob Schaefer. First off, the score. If you missed it, if you missed it or whatever, 128-114, the Bulls win in Boston. They like I say, they were down as much as 19 in the third quarter, and as I got Rob Schaefer was able to mark it down, they outscored the Celtics 51-18 in the final 14 minutes and 19 seconds of the game. Remarkable, as he said. I mean, really ain't no other way to put it. And in the fourth quarter itself, in those 12 minutes, they outscored the Celtics 39-11. Like, just a crazy, crazy comeback. Zach LaVine scored 22 in the second half, had 13 in the fourth. DeMar DeRozan had 37 overall, leading everybody. Ayo had 14, man, and he's looking like he looked like he's got no problem adjusting to the league, man. This is just like I say, just a really great performance by the Bulls. Like at certain points, though, it was looking like the worst performance of the year, but they just took over in the fourth, man, and showed how. It seemed to me already that this is a team that is hard to kill. They got so much talent. They got so many different, different combinations of the roster that they could throw at people, lineups and stuff. But I'm gonna let you go. I could keep talking before I stop. I'm rambling, but I love this team, Drew. I love this team.
I do too, man. Pardon me if I start rambling, but dude, I'm like welling up a little bit. It sounds stupid, but like dude, I ain't been this happy for a Bulls team in so long, bro.
I mean, how could we be, man? We haven't seen this. We haven't seen this type of stuff in a long time.
Like you said, after they came out and hit 5 straight threes, after that, it was like it was Downsville, man. Like, okay, this is gonna be the one they take on the chin. And keep it moving. But the bench, dude, Caruso, Bradley, Dosunmu, Derrick Jones Jr. getting his second real game time this season. They look incredible together, man. I don't know what their on-off numbers are together as a four-man group this season, but those dudes, man, they come in and provide such a spark off that bench. You talked about this being like a signature win. You could kind of say it's a signature win built off another signature win, being that they defeated Utah on Saturday, man. So that's two.
We gonna get into that in a bit, but
that's two huge wins. You going into Boston into a if you want to say a hostile environment against a very much a quality opponent. You get uppercutted like a Mike Tyson uppercut to the chin, and you take it, you get back up, and you start swinging yourself and knock them on the ground.
Yeah, dude, they were getting treated, and Boston is a team, like you say, they know how to win. They have guys who have won on that team, and they got good experience and they got pride, and they seem to be, coming into the game with a losing record. They seem to, for 3/4 of this game was like, look, yeah, we about to take this one and make a statement for ourselves against a team that has made a nice 5-1 start. But the Bulls, in the end was just like, I had a feeling that they had another run in them, but I didn't think that they were just going to take the game over. Like usually with good teams, like to the ultimate degree, like the Dynasty Bulls or the Dynasty Warriors and stuff. Those type of teams like that like to take over games in the third quarter, and the Bulls today, they just really got outplayed in that. Let me try to get the box score. In that second and third quarter.
They got outscored 32-25 in that second quarter and 36-30 in that third quarter. So
thank you, Drew.
Yeah,
they just didn't have type of and execution that you would want to see from the team. And it looked like you said, like they were about to take it on the chin, and it was going to be, we was probably going to have mixed feelings about the team at the moment, because that would have been 2-3 losses. They had the nice Utah, kept knocked Utah from the ranks of the unbeaten on Saturday, but they did it at home. Now you got the start of this road slate that we were last week we was talking a lot about it. Them beginning to play these road games and play these past playoff teams from last year and really ramp up the competition. And what came about today is just such a good sign. Like the Bulls are too good a team really to play an entirely bad 48 minutes. Like at some point in the game, they're going to be still alive, even when they're playing really, really bad. And it comes down to just how deep and how multifaceted their talent is right now. It's really crazy.
It really is, man. It's like every time they get a chance to show us how much different this team is, or how much different this season will be from last year or the years past, man, they do it, or they, for the most part, have done it. Even when they were down against New York and that game seemed to be kind of slipping away, they found a way to make it very close to the end and come within a
they could have very well took that game.
DeMar DeRozan jumper of I think he could have tied it at that point, if I'm not mistaken. But it's also it's a little emotional just because of how well Ayo DeSumo has played, especially in this game. The leading scorer, scoring 14 points, and given kind of the discussion that was had during the draft, a lot of people saying they should have drafted Sharif Cooper, who's a very good player in his own right. But just seeing what this team needed at that time and seeing the different ways he can help this team, it's just validating the draft pick. I know it's still early. We're only 7 games into the season, man, but who knew that he would play this big of a role this early? Some of that is due to Kobe White being out, but man, he can do so many different things for this team, and it's the reason why I'm guessing they drafted him. He has a little bit more, a few more tools in the tool shed than what Sharif Cooper can offer, even though maybe his tools are a little bit sharper. But still, man, for this team, the Sumo was it, man.
And one thing about him that I think you could read from his time at Illinois, because he was that guy at Illinois who, whenever they needed a big shot, whenever they needed a big play and a big stand on defense, he was the guy who had to provide it. So he really is carrying that into the pros, where he doesn't feel any type of hesitation to shoot a shot when needed. He shot that go-ahead shot in the fourth quarter that put them up. I think it was 109, 108. And he'll play defense against anybody. He doesn't scare. He doesn't. I was gonna say he doesn't scare easily. He don't scare at all, man. He don't care who out there on the court with him. He's gonna play. So that's really the best thing about him. is that this really I don't know if it's any type of transition that off him. It's just playing against new guys, and he's ready to show himself every night. Like, show what he got. I was on the text chain with some of the other guys, from D and Davis and everything, and they're trying to, huh?
Just to cut you off, I need to get added to this group chat, man.
I'll nominate you then.
Okay.
It shouldn't be hard to get you on, but, but it's just we've had the chain as it is for such a long time. It's just, but I don't think you'd have a problem getting on. But we was, people was talking about, particularly Ryan was talking about like comps for for IO. I don't. Nobody really comes specifically to mind for me at the moment. I was wondering if anybody comes to mind for you at the time. They was trying to push like Jimmy Butler, and I don't really like that comparison. I think at a point Ken said let me see, said Holiday, which I like a little more as a comparison. Drew Holiday. But yeah. But I don't know. Do you have anybody that comes to mind?
So let me preface this by saying that I have gotten away from, or had gotten away from, watching college basketball for a while. So I didn't watch Dosunmu play a single game in its entirety, if that makes any sense.
At Illinois.
Illinois, just snippets, highlights. But maybe the first person that came to my mind, and I know I would get probably some pushback on this, and I think I brought it up to Sean Davis way back when, before the draft. I think this is like going into the NCAA tournament, but I see him as like a poor man's D Wade, because he has a little bit. Because of the role he played at Illinois, he has the experience and had the success of being the man. Plays defense, and he can still get his teammates involved. You might say that he can stand to bulk up a little bit, but he has an NBA ready body.
He does. He has a good size to him and everything.
Yeah. But he just may not have the bounce that D Wade had. Not that D Wade was windmilling on people, but D Wade
he was much quicker to the rim, and he could get up. Like Io's more. He don't really get up like that, but he shoots. Like I said, he's more of a shooter and a slasher. Like he slashes, but he lays up. He doesn't, like, you don't see him like boofing on cats and stuff like that. Like Wade could do that,
Yeah, it's like he knows how to separate. He knows how to create space in a way that doesn't. What am I trying to say? Because he's not the athlete that some of these other guys are, he's better at creating space, perhaps because of that. He can still get a shot off.
That's good. That's a good point. Yeah, he knows how important it is to create space.
Yeah, like the angles and whatnot.
Yeah, and he gets to his shots so good, man. Yeah. Like he gets to he knows his spots on the court, and he knows where to put the ball up. So he's just got a great sense of his game, which I think speaks to his maturity as well.
Absolutely. And speaking of knowing how to get to your shots, dude, DeMar DeRozan, you're not gonna speed him up. You're not gonna slow him down. He's gonna get to his spots no matter what.
I'm saying, man, people messed up trying to say that he wasn't gonna be a good fit on this team, man.
Man,
they put a battery in his back, man.
They really did, man. And he looks like he is riding that chip on his shoulder through these first 7 games of the season.
Like we came into the season, I think a lot of us was thinking that maybe Zach would have the biggest chip on his shoulder on the squad, but that may have to be DeRozan, at least at so far, man.
Man, he's Yeah, this is definitely a 1-2 with them. Kind
Yeah,
of, yeah. You know,
they
whoever.
both play it with purpose. Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely, and just I know we might get into it shortly, but the way Zach reacted late in that game on Saturday against the Jazz, when they started to pull away and it looked like it was going to go the Bulls' way. Dude, you had to feel so good for him, man, coming off of the type of seasons that he's had and the amount of weight he's had to carry just to drag this team into fourth quarters and now not having to do that.
sure.
Oh man, go ahead, flex on him, Zach. That's kind of what I was thinking in the moment.
I mean, that's how you got to feel for the whole season so far with Zach, man. Like we talked last week about finally getting 4 wins in a row and all these sort of small but significant milestones that he's like they're gonna start to pile up now. Like he's gonna play on a team. He's playing on a team already that he's never played on as a pro, and the games as they again we're going to see in the next couple of weeks when they go into LA, when they go into Golden State, San Francisco, and they play these big games. When they go to the Denver and play these big games, like people are going to be coming at him specifically and coming at this team. So we gonna learn more about how they react to the pressure. But I really again after tonight, I don't feel like they're gonna be backing down at any point. Like they may have some bad quarters again, but you can feel confident that they're gonna have some punches left in them by the end of any game.
Absolutely, man. This isn't the this isn't the Pistons. This isn't the Raptors. No disrespect to them. They hung tough with the Knicks when the Knicks were hitting shot after shot after shot. They hung tough and beat Utah. They hung tough and beat Boston. These aren't also ran teams. These are high quality opponents that they're punching back against. And I can't believe we're here. I really can't, man. I can't believe
you seem like you had some more to speak on in regards to the Utah game. You had some more as
just the same kind of where we are after watching this Boston game. Just man, it's like we talked about them going into the stretch of games and how daunting it looked and how tough it was going to be and how many wins, how many losses they were going to come out of with this stretch. And it's just, dude, this is always this was an opportunity, or is going to be more opportunities for them to silence all the doubters, to end the yeah but statements, the yeah but you beat Detroit, or yeah but you beat the Raptors. What can you say when you hang tough for Utah and you beat the Jazz, or when you go into Boston, take their best shot and still walk out of there with a win? Like, you can't ask for anything more.
But you know what? I think in some ways they're gonna have to be answering people like that all year.
Oh yeah.
But that's the good thing about that is that they're likely going to be, making people feel salty all year, or making people eat their words, and all that, So that's the good part about being in that position. Like, or when people underrate you or have lower expectations of you, or say that you sort of a fluke in some way, keeping on proving that that you're not, and like I say, making people eat their words. That's going to be, I think, a big theme of this season for the Bulls. And we'll get to enjoy it, hopefully.
No, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
So they're definitely buying the Bulls, man. 6-1, a rare start in any season, any era of Bulls basketball, and with the next game coming up, I believe is they got the Philly games coming up. Yeah, the 2 Philly games,
Mm-hmm.
And we'll. I guess there's some issue about Embiid's health coming up and everything. So maybe they might catch a break with these two games. But either way, Philly is a tough team. I think Tobias Harris may be available in those games. There was talk. I saw some stuff about him today, but we'll see. Again, they'll have a game here and they'll have a game. I forget which order but they'll have a game here and they'll have a game in Philly, and then after that they'll be getting on that West Coast trip. So we'll be seeing. Like I said, we'll be seeing more about the Bulls, learning more about the Bulls as they go. But I think a game like today tells you, if not all you need to know, it tells you most of what you need to know about this team right now and how different they are than in past years, and definitely different from the past couple years.
Oh yeah, for sure, and it's. I don't think anybody should be. I think it's beyond looking at these last two games as flukes or wondering if they can hit the same in these next stretch of games coming up. Like as we said, like these are two quality opponents that they've been able to knock off. Kind of makes you rethink what they can do in this stretch now.
Mm-hmm. The expectation, like I say, expectations are growing, and we could see them. If we can see them run off some more wins, I think there's already sort of an anticipation there. I think when you look at even some of the national media starting to turn around already and at least notice what's going on, if not necessarily buy into it. So if we see the Bulls, win in LA, win, like I said, win in Portland, win in at Golden State in San Francisco, that's going to mean a lot, and people are going to really start to buy into this team and pretty much hype the team. I'm interested to see how many games get switched over, because they already had that Knick game got switched over from a regional game to a national game on NBA TV. And this is interesting. I don't know if you know the story all the way, Drew, but they're not doing Thursday night games on Turner for the rest of the calendar year because of football.
Oh, okay.
So if you noticed last week, they did the games on Tuesday. And they had the crew, Ernie and Shaq and Chuck and Jet, but they didn't have them on Thursday. Those games, the national games, were on NBA TV because they want to avoid Thursday night football.
Okay. Yeah, I did. I saw some things leading up to the Bulls game against the Knicks last week, where people kind of insinuating that. So that makes sense. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. They don't want to compete with the big boys of the NFL, so that makes sense.
Yeah, NFL is king as far as TV goes, but I wonder if the Bulls are going to get switched around on a Tuesday or on one of them ESPN days. I think that's going to happen a few times before the end of the year, because when they came out with the schedule, it was kind of light, but I think still at that time people were like, well, the Bulls might not be that good,
Mm-hmm.
but they were still putting people like Charlotte and a cup like New Orleans on, multiple times on these national games and stuff. And I think they're gonna start to regret that. I think we're gonna see the Bulls in some more showcase games coming up.
I think so too, man. They keep winning. They're gonna have to start flexing them in. They're not gonna have a choice. The demand is gonna rise. This is what the third biggest market, if I'm not mistaken. So winning is going to open up a lot of doors for this team. Most definitely.
Yeah. I'm not hearing you on my end. I don't know if it's some situation, right?
Can you hear me now?
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Let me see. Damn, I had to check my output. Oh, there we go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. My
Okay.
output switched on me. I don't know why. I must have pressed something accidentally. But I think you were fine on the stream though. It just was the way I was hearing you.
I got you. Okay.
But yeah, you don't have to repeat nothing. But yeah, we like I said, we doing this late night edition of M&M Monday Night Means, and like I said, we could probably go on for another hour or so talk about the Bulls, but I ain't gonna waste too much time. And I guess a couple other things. It's just me and Drew tonight, no guest or anything. I had one guest, but I told him I was doing the show at 9. I had to switch the show back a little bit. It was like, we'll get up another time. So, I ain't gonna say who the guest is, but they'll likely be on another show down the line. But I don't know. But one thing I did wanted to bring for that guest was the Blackhawks stuff, and I think, we probably wouldn't be the most. We know the overall story, of course. I think there's not too much I guess pressing insight that we could offer on it. But I'm just gonna just say that we're definitely selling the Blackhawks. And there's many reasons, of course, on the ice. They've had one of their worst starts ever, maybe one of the worst starts in NHL history at this point. But they, the how everything broke. We was waiting for this news to break last week about who is John Doe. That turns out to be a former first round draft pick of theirs named Kyle Beach. We learn his story. He tells his story pretty heroically to TSN up in Canada, and everything comes to light at this point. He was sexually harassed by a former strength coach, I believe, or
like a video coordinator.
Video coordinator. My fault. Yeah, video coordinator, and he was part of that. That coach was part of the 2010. Team that broke open things for the Blackhawks and set the table for their mini dynasty, as it were, that won 3 titles out of 5 years, I believe, a decade ago. And that coach wound up celebrating and everything. And what happened was, word of his actions got around the team, and they got to the coach at the time, Coach Quenneville. They got to the general manager, Bowman, and others, and they pretty much decided to sit on it, and they didn't take any action. They didn't fire anybody. They didn't fire that coach who was abusing this player. And it just was a whole sad. It's a familiar story that we normally hear with young women and underage people of the like, and it's very sad how this extends into NHL with this story. And I think if you do some digging, there's been other reports and other instances that have been reported of these type of things happening across youth hockey in a lot of different areas. And it sort of again, it reaches this point of the NHL, of a high profile team, the Blackhawks, and when it becomes a big story. And it's something that it's a reckoning that happened 10 years too late. And some people lost their jobs this week. Stan Bowman, Quenneville, even though he long left the team, he was coaching an undefeated team down in Florida, the Florida Panthers, and he got chopped off, rightfully so, at his job. And a lot of, like I say, heads rolled and everything, but the feeling of justice, it comes up short to that level. And just really, you really got to feel for Kyle Beach. His life was changed and affected so negatively by these actions. He was in no control over what happened in his life. And he as he said to TSN, when these guys celebrated in the wake of what happened to him in 2010, he felt like nothing. He felt like he didn't, he didn't have any say, and he didn't have any self-worth in the wake of that. And it just hurts for a person to have to admit that. But Drew, I'll give it to you, man. Like, what's your overall thoughts on the situation, man? And do you think that this tarnishes what that team, like, starting with that team in 2010 meant a lot to Chicago. It really reawoken the passion of hockey in this town. But do you think that team is tarnished now and in the wake of all this?
I feel like, how can it not be tarnished? You bring up Quenneville, you bring up was Bowman with the team? Bowman was with the team at that time too.
Right?
If you bring up, anybody from that era, I think now there's going to automatically be an association of the events that have just now come out. It's unfortunate, obviously. Like you said, you feel for Kyle Beach. Man, it makes you wonder, like, not to insinuate that things like this have gone on or have been swept under the rug and still are under the rug for other organizations and other sports. But man, I wonder how much the fact that the run was going on, how much that played a part in it being swept under the rug and not wanting to.
I think definitely at least in that year, it was prioritized that the franchise stay focused on winning and on reaching this goal that it had. It can't be overstated how much the winning the cup meant to the franchise at that time. It changed so much for the franchise because they had gone 40-something years without winning the cup, and they had reached a point in the immediate years of sort of irrelevance in Chicago. They weren't being shown on the home games, weren't being shown on local TV and stuff like that. They were just getting back to that, to showing local games on home games on local TV and stuff like that, and being a more fan friendly franchise again. And they built up their talent to a point where, okay, they could finally compete at the highest level, and they were on the brink of a breakthrough and a championship. And in having this come on their laps at the same time, it's a decision that unfortunately so many franchises across sports probably make the same decisions or similar decisions, where they have to prioritize what's going on in that moment in regards to winning, as opposed to and winning and holding up the entire franchise, as opposed to prioritizing the health and well-being of one person in this franchise who was being preyed upon. And that's the right decision. And in so many cases, I don't think we will find in sports, we won't find the type of leadership that would value one person over a franchise, the fate of a franchise. We just don't have that.
Yeah, but it's man, at the same point, it's like you messing with a time bomb, because what's done in the dark eventually is going to come to light. So it's like either you deal with it now or probably much worse circumstances in the future. And that's not to try to make what Kyle Beach went through any less important. I think I don't know who it was, but I think I read or heard on the radio that somebody he brought this incident to blamed it on him. Like,
yeah, there was another assistant coach, I believe, And yeah, you're right. They did pretty much say, well, why you put yourself in that position?
And that's terrible, man. I feel like that's what victims of sexual assault or sexual predators. Sometimes that's the retort they get a lot, and that's uncalled for. That's that's ludicrous to try to. Why would I don't understand, man. It's just
Get back to what you said about too what done in the dark coming to the light. I think in so many cases, people who have this power afforded to them in sports, they have an arrogance that sort of makes them feel like, well, we could keep this in the dark, for as long as possible, long enough to where we won't have to necessarily feel any sort of repercussions about it. Or they may feel like, well, if we win enough, the winning is a cure-all that can, even cure institutional abuse.
Yeah.
You could look at something like the American, the U.S. Gymnastics program, and how they allowed a horrible, a serial abuser to exist in that program for years and years, but because they won so much and they represented the U.S. to a great degree in the Olympics, nothing came about to rectify that situation until it was too late, until he had already ruined countless lives of young girls who were in that program. So, we're lucky. This guy in the Hawks program.
Was it Aldridge?
Yeah, Aldridge. Yeah,
Aldridge.
I have to get the whole name, but he went on to abuse others, and because of him getting arrested for those later abuses, these things came up with the Hawks. So this is sort of like, not to trivialize it, but it's sort of like the old Spider-Man thing, where Spider-Man had to Peter Parker had to learn a lesson that when he let the robber go by after the guy who robbed the arena where he wrestled, he was like, well, I don't have to worry about that. But the guy winds up shooting his Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
And that's like, with great power comes great responsibility, man. When you have that power and that you're afforded the chance to stop something evil that's happening, you should make that happen, because you never know how far that evil will spread, and how it could eventually affect you to the core, in a personal level, and affect many others as well.
Yeah, I think that analogy you made that's pretty spot on. That's pretty spot on, man.
Yeah, like I say, you don't want to trivialize it, but it's really a truism. That's really why so many people respond to that story, because it's like I say, it's real to a degree.
Yeah, and it didn't have to be that way, like you said, man. This could have been something that was handled in the moment when it first was brought to the powers that be. First brought to their attention. This
right. If Bowman, if Quinville, if these people had the stones to and the intestinal fortitude to stop this type of activity in its tracks, it would have shined a bad light on this team at the time, but it would have stopped an abuser from abusing, and hopefully it would have stopped them, but it would have done more than what was done, and it would have likely kept these other people from being abused after he left the Hawks. So that's where the tragedy factors in. Even more so than it is with looking at Kyle Beach, and he's definitely a tragedy, because I'm sure he's a proud guy who has to live with this for the rest of his life. And he had ambitions of being a professional hockey player at the top level, and he's never been able to reach that level in large part because of this. So it's just horrible all around, man. And it's hard, like we say, Drew. We can't disassociate what happened now, but with him from that earlier team. And in some ways, we can't disassociate it with the team today, in my opinion, because this team is in a bad way on the ice. And one thing that surfaced last week too, you have two of the team's leaders, the two leaders on the team, Taze and Kane, both sort of backing up Bowman when they were asked about the situation, asked about him being fired. They sort of stuck up for Bowman and was like, well, spoke to his character or whatever, their relationship with him. They've been in the organization with him for a long time, and they've won these Stanley Cups with him and stuff. So they spoke to that side of him instead of speaking up for a fellow hockey player who got abused and was done wrong by the organization. They didn't speak up for him. They spoke up for Stan Bowman. So that again, that shows you the thinking that needs to be reworked in hockey and in sports in general. What are we prioritizing, and when it comes to these situations, and I don't feel much sympathy for the guys who have left over from that era, who are still on the team. The guys who maybe had nothing to do with that era, who are on the team and suffering now. Maybe I feel a little bit of sympathy for them. But like Taze and Kane, I don't feel much sympathy for them right now. If that's how they feel about the situation and they don't feel any sort of sympathy or regret to what happened to Kyle Beach, then you guys could go 0-82, man.
Yeah, I feel you, because I believe neither one of them have comped to knowing anything about what was going on, but at the same point, not that they chose sides, but when you choose to speak on Bowman's behalf or vouch for his character rather than, like you said, express some sort of sympathy for what happened and the actual victim of what went on, it's a bad look. It's a bad look. And as far
and
as
we don't know to what extent they knew about things, but there have been reports that have talked about Beach and his situation being sort of an open secret amongst in the hockey community, where to the point where people made fun of him in locker rooms and on ice, and made mention of him, doing certain acts with certain people and stuff. And that type of stuff is hard to read and take in as an observer. Like, man, to imagine being put in that situation and really having no defense for yourself. Like, it's really rough, man.
Yeah, it's a terrible situation, and like you said, it's something that happened in the past, but because the repercussion of happening in real time, this team that's playing on the ice now has to deal with what's going on. So
they got a long way to go before they can be seen in a different light. It's going to take both actions off the court, off the ice, and on the ice. Like, they gotta find ways to win again, and also do things in the community that make the Hawks, make that brand of Chicago Blackhawks hockey seem like something that's better. And that's kind of ironic too, because there's some people who are offended by the brand of Blackhawks already, on GP. So,
I think on yesterday, Ben Pope the writer, Blackhawks writer for the Sun Times, he tweeted out, if you want to watch something truly horrifying, watch the last 9 Blackhawks games. It was so,
I bet, man. I haven't watched much of them this year. I've just been looking at the scores, but yeah, they took 2 games into overtime. Those are the only games where they got any points. All the rest they lost. I'm still not even sure that they've led a game at any point this year. Like it's just a horrible start, man. It's just one of the worst starts you could see in the hockey. So like I said, we're definitely selling those Hawks, man, for multiple reasons, and just hope that they can get themselves over the hump in multiple ways going forward. They got to put in some work for real.
they truly do. They truly do, man.
Yeah, but let's move over to a little less I say less high stakes situation and more of not necessarily an upbeat situation with the Bears, but right quick, they lost again Sunday. That was like 30. Now the score 32-22 or something, but
Yeah.
I didn't go to the game again, but I guess more so than the score and the result, which was to be expected. Which was sad too because the Bears came into the game as an underdog against a 2-4 team that had lost 4 games in a row, and they were playing at home. So, like, that shows you just what type of confidence people have in the Bears right now, be it in Chicago or Las Vegas. Don't nobody have much confidence in the Bears right now. But Justin Fields showed out a bit more in the game, and for those who don't know, the coaching situation was different than usual because Matt Nagy, because he was under COVID restrictions, quarantine, wasn't allowed to be at the game. He apparently figured a lot in the preparation as usual, but he wasn't actually running the team from Soldier Field. Their special teams coordinator was doing that. He was in the role of head coach at the Soldier Field, and we already know that the play calling is being done by Bill Lazor as of late, and the team sort of let the kid do more that he naturally is able to do in this game. He rushes for over 100 yards for the first time. The first time that happens for any Bear since Bobby Douglas in like 1973, I believe.
Wow.
Which is, there's a couple ways to look at that. Like, there's a lot of teams who maybe never have had 100-yard rushers at the quarterback position because they play more, conventional types of styles with their offenses and with their quarterbacks. But, and the Bears have played a lot of conventional offenses in the past 45 years as well, but they just haven't had prolific offenses and prolific quarterbacks. So they, on top of having, conventional offenses, they never even took the risk of having guys who can, and they've had guys who could athletic. You could say they've had people like Cordell Stewart and Rex Grossman was pretty athletic for his size and stuff, and
even Cutler to an extent.
Cutler, but even back in the day, they had Doug Flutie for a minute on the team. Like Doug Flutie could run with the ball, but they never made an effort to have a quarterback have running as part of the centerpiece of their offense. Yeah. And now they got a guy in Fields who is, in the modern sense, very much a dual threat. And they finally, allowed him. You think in this early part of his career that from jump they'd be like, let's let the kid run as much as he can because his throwing ability isn't quite there yet. He still has to work on his timing, his his ability to connect with the receivers and everything. But they've mostly contained him in the pocket in his early games. Sunday we finally got to see a sense of him as the playmaker that he can be. He makes that one brilliant touchdown run where he avoided like 5 or 6 San Francisco defenders in the backfield, turns around, reverses field, and rushes, finds daylight to the end zone. It's such a brilliant play, man. And everybody just looks at that and says, man, that's when he's being instilled with the confidence of the team and of the coaches and everything, and he's given the free reign, watch out, man. And it could be the type of game-changing thing that we're actually seeing with the Bulls right now, where instinct and talent is sort of being intertwined, and we're seeing play on a whole new level than we've been used to seeing from these teams. So with the Bears, there's still so much that's bearing around him to not to throw a pun out there, but we saw the defense and how full of holes they are now. A lot of it's due to injuries and stuff, but they don't have the depth and the talent that they had a couple years ago. They can't stop opponents like they want, and San Francisco took it to them in every way. And it's just another sign that look, this team is not. I've been saying it all year. They're not a playoff team. They're not a team to whom we can expect much of anything. The best we can expect from this year is that by the end of the year, Fields is a certified starting pro quarterback, which I think he will be, and that the Bears have an idea of the type of coach that they want to pair with him for next season, because the coach that's there now isn't going to be that guy.
Yeah, so I'm in lockstep with you, man. This season is not about wins and losses for me. It's about looking at Fields and being able to see some sort of progression, even if it's not start after start. Just every 2-3 games, you see something a little bit different. See him move or react a little bit different to the defense, or be able to pick up on different things that the defense is trying to do to play him. And I think that moving forward, the Bears. Okay, so they went out and they traded up to draft Justin Fields, but this is still like a gift that's been placed in their lap. And from this point on, it's about, what are you going to do with this? You can't waste it, or at least we, Bears fans hope that they don't waste it. So what can you do? Should you? I saw a story from 670 to Score about Ryan Pace saying that he's going to be aggressive at the trade deadline. That's cool, but I hope your aggression is to build around Justin Fields.
His aggression needs to be to get rid of the players, the rest of the players who aren't working on the team, who are taking up most of the salary, yes. or in the case of Allen Robinson, expected to take up more of the salary if they try to keep him.
Right.
They need to just get rid of these guys. Like, Robinson, Robinson is a potential guy. Keem Hicks. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Cohen, we never get to see come back really from his injury. But these guys, you're not going to do anything with these guys now. That time with them, that window with them has passed. So you need to get them off the books, get some draft picks, get some draft capital in exchange for them, and move on. And
Yeah,
and that may be the type of thing. That's really the type of plan that you would have with a general manager who is more secure in their position. And for all we know, Pace probably is secure in his position, which I don't like is not the type of reality I'd like to acknowledge, but he may be. But regardless of that, that's the type of thing that I think a good team, a well-minded, a well-run team would do at this point. They would not be getting themselves mixed up and be delusional in hopes that they could salvage another season and be nine what would be probably 9-8 because of 17 games this year. You don't want to just continue to be that 9-18, 9-17. You want to try to build something more more fruitful around, again, like you say, a quarterback who could really be special for the next 10 to 15 years. You don't want to just grind out a, a 550 winning percentage season with him in his rookie year. It doesn't matter what games he wins in 2021.
right.
Create the type of firmament for him that you could build something real around him for years to come.
Yeah, maybe Larry Borum and Tevin Jenkins when they come back, or when Jenkins comes back as Borum played. But when maybe they prove to be the stalwarts on the line that Pace drafted them to be. But I think that you continue to build up that offensive line to the best of your ability in order
Yeah,
to give Fields the time he needs. When he has time, like this dude wants to take chances. On offense, he wants to throw that deep ball. I know sometimes he gets criticized for locking in on one target, but if I guess this the same argument can be made for any quarterback, but you got to get this dude some more time.
yeah.
You got to devote draft picks to him because that's the future of your franchise. You need to build around him.
You got to get him, but you got to get him skill guys too, man, because he needs more skill guys outside of Mooney. He could and Herbert. Who can he really trust right now? Montgomery's good, but he's been dealing with injury.
Yeah.
He just hasn't clicked with Allen Robinson, like I said. And if I was running the team, he wouldn't be a Bear past tomorrow. Cole Kmet can't make catches when he needs to make them. They need some upgrades in the skill position still, and that's sad too, because at one point we was like, well, the line is so bad. He got players, but they got players, but the line is so bad. But in reality, they don't have the players, and the line is bad, and the defense is old and full of holes now.
Yeah.
It's so many things that they got to work on, and so many positions that they need to upgrade. Start with this upcoming off season.
And they gotta have draft picks to fix it.
Yeah.
What I've heard this kind of, I think, starting maybe 2 weeks ago. How do you feel about them shopping David Montgomery because of the way Herbert is played and the amount of money that Montgomery might command moving forward?
Yeah, I'm not. When I first heard that, I was like, nah, and I'm still mostly feeling that way. I think you can allow Montgomery to come back and let him play into a bigger contract and just see what the situation is going to be. If he plays up to a certain worth and he's out there like, well, I got to be paid amongst the top 5 running backs in the league or something, then just let him go about his business. But if he's willing to work with the team and if he really shows a commitment to want to stay in Chicago, I don't see no reason why you can't keep him in the fold. What I would love to see is the Bears have 2 potential starting running backs, 2 of that caliber. Because a lot of teams have at least 2 guys who they could throw at you, and that's why I was feeling so good about the backfield coming into this year because, with Williams, who I still feel pretty good about, he hasn't shown too much, but I think he's a guy who can make plays when called upon. And Montgomery, I think you had a nice combination there. And Herbert, at the beginning of the year, there was possibilities with him, and he's gone on and really shown what he can do now. So now you got a rookie contract guy, really two rookie contract guys, and if you had to get rid of one of those three, I would get rid of Williams first, and then we could talk about Montgomery down the line and say, well, where is he going to be at in after 2022 or 2023? Because you still have that time with him. Yeah. So, I wouldn't be quick to get rid of Montgomery, just to keep it short.
And then another question for you: how much faith do you have that this aggression that Ryan Pace talks about having for the trade deadline won't be misplaced, in that he's going to be aggressive to win this season as opposed to being aggressive to build around Justin Fields?
Yeah, I don't have any confidence that he's going to do anything of substance tomorrow. I mean, the deadline is tomorrow, so I think, yeah. So when we look at what's happened already in the NFL, you've had teams that are actually going to win this year, like Arizona. They went and got Zach Ertz as a big pickup for their tight end situation because they lost the starting tight end for the season. That they went, handled their business, and got a starting tight end in Zach Ertz to fill his spot. LA today got a lot of news. Pick up Miller from the Broncos. An all-pro, Pro Bowl linebacker is going to wreak havoc alongside. They coming at you with so much talent on the defense already with Aaron Donald and everybody. Now they got Miller as well in that situation. So they're going all in, for the Lombardi Trophy. They made that move specifically with a mind to harass Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and the young boy down in Arizona. They made that move. They made a smart move there. The Bears, meanwhile, what have they done over the past 24 hours? Nothing. So I don't think that's going to change over the next 12 or so hours that they got. I guess maybe like 14 at this point. And if they make any moves, I think it will be to sell more so than to buy. So I would hope. I think, like I said before, that's the more prudent situation anyway. Just get rid of some of these bigger contracts that you have. Get yourself more flexibility in your salary cap situation, and get you some more draft picks for the upcoming draft or two that's coming up ahead, because that's the situation that you're in. You're not in the situation that the Rams are in. You're not in the situation that the Cardinals are in. So quit acting like you are.
No, I'm with you. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah. I appreciate you asking. But yeah, we got another hour in. Good talk, man. I put some headlines on the rundown. Right quick, I'm gonna go over a couple things. To keep it on the sports side, I want to shout out the Chicago Red Stars again. We try to keep an eye on all the teams, the pro level teams in town, and the Red Stars again are a team that needs to be acknowledged here in Chicago. The women's soccer team, past champions in the National Women's Soccer League, they made the playoffs again over the weekend and clinched a 6th straight playoff spot in the NWSL. So, that alone deserves props. It's something that you don't get from many Chicago teams. 6 straight years in the playoffs. And as our guy Larry Hawley of WGN said in a piece he wrote for WGN.com, WGNTV.com, if you're looking for consistency when it comes to a fall professional Chicago sports team, shots fired, look no further than the main tenant at SeatGeek Stadium. So yeah, like I say, big ups to them, and good luck for them in the upcoming playoffs. They're the 4th seed in a 16 playoff system, and I think let's see, their next matchup will be against 5th seeded New Jersey, New York, Gotham Football Club on Sunday, and that's going to be at SeatGeek Stadium out in Bridgeview, Harlem Avenue. Shout out. So hey, if y'all got some time, man, go out. If you're interested in soccer, if you just want to be supportive of Chicago sports, man, go. Like I said, give them some time, man. Make it loud out there at SeatGeek Stadium, man, and show them some love. And maybe they'll bring home another title this year. We got one from Sky. Maybe the Red Stars could represent again for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what a turnaround! Because the season started off kind of slow.
Yeah, it did, man. I know you was keeping up with them, man. We were still doing the post, man. So yeah. I appreciate that. But like you said, they did start off the season a little slow.
Maybe that was a bad luck charm, man. I don't know.
I don't know about that, but yeah. But one more thing I want to shout out to before we go is Luis Robert. I saw this story. You don't see many Chicago sports figures get a story in Hypebeast, but Luis Robert is on the website hypebeast.com currently because he bought a Lamborghini. I can't even say this word because I don't know nothing about these type of cars, but I don't have this type of money. But I think it's Aventador SVJ, and
I don't speak millionaire either, man.
Yeah, but the story is about his car, and he gave it a wrap. He got a paint, I guess a paint job or whatever that's influenced by the cartoon Naruto, the anime. I don't know how much you up on that.
Not at all.
But but it's kind of a wild image. Like I said, it's on Hypebeast. You search Hypebeast and Luis Robert. I should have put the link up, but I'm kind of just doing this on the fly. But it's looking at the story. It said it was done by this guy named Alex Vega in Miami, and it has 2 of the main characters, of course, Naruto being one of them on the hood of the car, and some more characters on the doors. And the wrap costs $10,000, which is a fraction of the price of the car itself, which is over $500,000. And there's a picture of it from up on IG under a something called the Auto Firm.
I'm looking at it now.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, I guess that's what Luis wanted to do with his money, man. I ain't mad at him, as long as he keep producing. Hopefully he can produce a little more in 2022 and stay off the injured list.
It's a lot of socks.
Yeah. If you see a flamed out Naruto car on 35th Street next summer, you'll know just who it belongs to.
Who gets robbed first? Robert of that car, or one of the Milwaukee Bucks that just got one of them championship rings turned chains?
I'd be scared to come at one of the Bucks with because I'd be scared they turn into a transformer or something. Like or there's like one of them Green Lantern rings or something like you like like a big old fist come out of it and like knock you upside the head, man. You know,
that thing is Lord, man.
yeah, I don't know, but
it's as obnoxious as championship rings should be, I guess.
yeah, I mean, you got to do something every year to outdo the last guys. That's you got to one up the last champions. It seems so. That's how they do it with those rings, man. Maybe I don't know how we could get one of those rings, but maybe we have to rob one of these players, catch them slipping. But I don't know. One more thing I do want to mention. I don't know. Maybe we could say this for Running with WARR, but Kofi Cockburn came back to Illinois, famously, but he's gonna sit. He could be in the league right now along with Io, who we started, talking about at the beginning of the show. His guy Io, but Kofi went back to Illinois, and he's benefiting from the NIL situation, name, image, and likeness, but apparently he sold some stuff when he had some stuff sold on a website when he was still in that he had declared for the draft, but he hadn't he wasn't drafted yet. Of course, he had declared for the draft. He didn't have he wasn't locked in or nothing. And he sold some stuff, and apparently that's come back to bite him because he's going to be suspended for the first 3 games of the Illinois season coming up. And they about to start really soon. And I don't know. I may speak more on this at another time, but I think it's unfair. And I'm still surprised that kids are getting suspended. I thought we were done with this stuff.
I did.
Double A, man, and I guess it happened. Apparently, the timing it happened before the name, image, and likeness legislation was set on July 1st of this year. So unfortunately, Kofi gets caught up in the game. It's not too big of a penalty. Not likely Illinois will lose any of these games that he misses, but it's enough to make you wonder why anybody messes with the NCAA, man. So, I'll just say keep your head up, big Kofi, man. And, I'm sure you're going to be dunking extra hard on fools when he comes back. So we at least got that to look forward to. But, yeah. I'm looking forward to the Illini though this year. They got a chance to do some big stuff again this year. And, they gave the Bulls IO, so that's even more reason to root for Illinois. And man, the Bulls back to where we started, man. Bulls got us feeling good.
Yeah, man, a natural high.
Yeah. But, and there's no better way to feel at 10, almost 10:30 at night. So we could have sweet dreams thinking about the Bulls tonight. But I'm gonna wrap it up on that word. Drew, man, appreciate you staying up with me.
Appreciate you pushing it back, man. To give us some time to digest these Monday Bulls games, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah. In the future, we'll probably actually push the show up. So, Drew kindly brought it to my attention that the Bulls play a lot of Monday games, and today, it was a situation where because they were on the East Coast, they started at 6:30. But in most situations, as I've looked over the schedule, they're gonna play a lot of home games on Monday and start at 7. So because of that, we're gonna probably push up a lot of our starts to 6 o'clock or thereabouts, and try to wrap up in time for the tip-offs of those games going forward. So if you see us, I keep telling y'all, subscribe to WARR Media on all our platforms. Subscribe on YouTube, and you'll get the nice recommendations for when we go when we set up our live streams, and when we go live, you get notifications. So if you want to be able to keep up with everything we do, follow us on Twitter as well. Follow me on Twitter. You always get you'll see when I go live. It'll be tweeted out and stuff. So follow me at Means Matters. Follow Drew and look what Drew did. Follow War Media, and yeah, you'll be up on everything. But like I said, expect us a little bit earlier, around 6 o'clock, for most weeks going forward, and talking about the Bulls and following the Bulls, and definitely want to keep up with what they got going on, because as they showed tonight, it's as good as it's been in a while.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. So yeah, for Drew, it's your man Kyle. We're gonna sign off here and enjoy what little bit of Monday we got left. Yeah, we'll get up with y'all Tuesday. Tomorrow should have a new not in the scope.
Running with War.
I'm mixing up the shows. Running with War will be new episode tomorrow. Josh and Chris hopefully will be involved, and yeah, we're gonna like I say, just more what you're looking for out here with War Media, and
yeah, we got to rein Chris in from celebrating the sky, man. He got to come back home, man.
Yeah, I'm at the. I just let Chris do what he do, man. I just let him do what he do, man. But he'll, like I said, he always brings it when he slides through. So that's all I want from him. When he does show up to bring it. Yeah. And I said, Drew, you got anything else you want to say, man, before we wrap up?
Man, if you guys just do me the honor, man, check out a piece I wrote about Derrick Rose not being on the 75th anniversary team, but
very good.
Still deserving a lot of credit for the peak that he was able to reach, if you even want to call it a peak, because it kind of came crashing down so fast because of injury. But you can check that out on Tap Sportsnet. Get back to me, let me know what you think. Am I way off base? Am I on point? Get up with me, man.
Nah, I did. It was a good piece, man, and definitely provides the sort of perspective that I think can be lost for so many already on Derrick. Like, he had top 75 talent. He still does in a lot of ways, but he just, things came about in a tough way for him, and he had to suffer the injuries that he did, and but he's always gonna be a number one in our hearts here in Chicago, and definitely I think too. Right quick too. You look at the tributes that happened over the past weekend with Tony Kukoc and Joakim Noah, and the Bulls really showed a lot of class and effort in saluting two guys who, again, aren't top 75 guys, maybe not even. Well, Tony's a Hall of Fame guy now, and Joakim may not be that level of guy, but they're guys who were special to the Bulls and special to Chicago, and they showed them a lot of love that they deserve, and I think it means a lot to players when they see guys get honored like that, and in their retirement and everything. So it's like I say, big up to the Bulls for showing the love that they did to those guys who provided a lot of great moments and memories for us as Bulls fans.
Yeah, the image of this team and this organization, man, is like undergoing a complete overhaul, man. The encore product, the way that they are commemorating, like you said, past players, man. Like this is different, man. This is not teams and how they treated Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and choosing to go other places because of that, man. This is a good look for the team, for the city.
It's not Chairman Jerry's side project anymore.
Right.
Young Michael is at the helm now. Michael Ryan. he's doing this thing. So salute to the young Reinsdorf, salute to Acme, AK and Mark Eversley and everybody else who made this Bulls team what it is today, and hopefully what it'll be for the future. So
absolutely.
yeah.
Yes,
All right, so that's it for now, though. Like I said, we'll get at y'all tomorrow with Running with War. Peace to everybody out there who keep supporting, and that's it for now. We out.